I'd like to call the meeting to order. Misty, would you call the roll?
Hal Glanville. J.R. Huddleston.
Here.
Deborah Johnston. Here. Bill Lukens.
Here.
Travis Orbach.
Here.
Larry Pratt.
Here.
Gary Telkamp.
Here.
Linda Varvel. Here. Thank you.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, Council, if you have a conflict of interest on any item on the agenda, please let Council know before you vote on it. Need a motion to approve an amended agenda, and we have a number of them tonight. The first item is amending the current claims. The new balance will be $247,378.03. And I'm counting on Misty to make sure I don't mess up here. The next item I'd like to amend is the ordinance, changing the ordinance number from 1264 to 1262. Changing the resolution number from 2025-5 to 2025-4. The change in the current claims comes from two items. On page 4, Premier Pyrotechnics, we're removing that one for $10,000. On page 7, Premier Pyrotechnics, we're increasing the second amount from 213, the bid board, from $5,000 to $10,000. For a total of $15,000 on that one. So it's those changes that, those two changes that contribute to the $247,378.03. We're amending new business items, removing new business item E, removing new business item G, removing new business item J, and adding a new business item L. And that will be to approve a travel training request from Jason Corral to attend the treatment level 3 exam on January 30th, 2025 in Spearfish, South Dakota. And then we're adding to our executive session, we're adding South Dakota Codified Law -1-25-23 for legal. So we'll be going to executive session for personnel and legal.
I make a motion to approve an amended agenda. Under current claims, that total should now read $247,378.03. We are removing on page 4, Premier Pyrotechnics, $10,000. And on page 7, Premier Pyrotechnics increased the 213 bid to $10,000, total of $15,000. Under ordinance, changing ordinance number 1264 to 1262. Under resolution, changing 2025-5 to 2025-4. Under new business, removing item E, removing item G, removing item J, adding item L, approved travel training request for Jason Corral for the wastewater treatment foreman to Spearfish to attend treatment level 3 exams.
Second.
Also, under executive session, we are adding SDCL 1-25-2-3 legal.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the January 6th council meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 6th council meeting.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the bills in between?
I make a motion to approve the bills in between for $172,408.20.
Second.
Linda. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve an amended current claims?
Make a motion to approve the amended current claims to read $247,378.03.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. And can I get a motion to approve the 2024 payable claims?
Make a motion to approve the 2024 payable claims for $12,354.75.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. So that brings us to communications from the public. Expect we're going to have some tonight. So, who wants to speak first? Name and address, please.
Okay, I think you all know who I am, but I'll
we need-
say it. I'm Forrest Fanning, the owner of Dakota Kind Dispensary, and I'm here to ask you,
And your address, please, Forrest?
15897 East Highway 44, Caputa, South Dakota.
Okay. And if you'd give me just a few minutes before you get started. Communications from the public, we always limit that to 5 minutes per person to present, what you want to address the council on. Council is then free to ask any follow-up questions. I suspect that, again, there's a lot of people that are here that want to speak. My request to you would be is that if you're in favor of what Forrest is speaking on first, and you come up to speak, please give us your name and address, and it's simple that you agree with what Forrest is asking council to do. If we go through 5 minutes, which seldom stays at 5 minutes to begin with, we could very quickly be here a long time. I want to be fair. This isn't a public hearing. There hasn't been one set. So we're a little tighter in the time that we give to the speakers. So with that, lead off.
Okay, so I have the paper that the opposition handed in to you guys, and I want to speak on that. And I want to start out by hoping you understand the term gaslighting, because that's what happened here last time. So I'm just going to go point by point through that. So the first one, the average electric use from a cannabis cultivation and associated infused products manufacturing increased 36% annually between 2012 and 2016. What does that have to do with anything? It wasn't legal in South Dakota. It has nothing to do with South Dakota, and it has no footnotes or anything to back it up. I'm here to talk about facts. Fact number one, we outnumber in this county 8-2 the people that voted for medical marijuana, and our voices were not heard. Okay, next item, carbon footprint. Okay, to understand this, you need a 6th grade education in biology. It's called photosynthesis. Our plants eat carbon dioxide. They don't produce carbon dioxide. So how could we have a carbon footprint? We give them water and we give them light and we feed them CO2 because there's not enough in the atmosphere. That needs 1,200 parts per million is what a plant needs for good growth. The CO2 here, 350 parts per million. So saying that we're causing some carbon footprint is ridiculous. And the water usage, there's the same thing. There's nothing to back it up except some article about almonds. I don't grow almonds. I grow marijuana, cannabis, weed, whatever you want to call it. But we will use 300 gallons a day at most. That's less than the average home of 4 people. So we're not using up all the utilities of Hot Springs. I'm sorry if I sound upset, but I am upset. This is ridiculous, the things that were said. And now I'm going to move to security and law enforcement. According to law enforcement, which law enforcement, history has shown that within 5 years of an establishment, the cartel moves in and buys them out. That's utter nonsense. It's just absolute nonsense. There's no cartel in Hot Springs. The only thing that would bring them here is to push me out and leave a vacuum. Then they'll be here. That's just, it's utterly ridiculous. I know you guys are smarter than that. I know it. There's never been any crime associated with cannabis in our establishment. We, like I said, we're feeling a need for the community. And like I said, we outnumber the opposition of Karens 8-2. 8-2. Look it up. South Dakota law does not allow for arrest or prosecution of card holders, cultivators, dispensaries, professional caregivers, or anyone connected to cannabis industry for certain behaviors. That's a perfect example of gaslighting. There's no facts, there's no figures for certain activities. What can't I be arrested for? I'm no different than anyone here. I don't get any special treatment. If anything, I'm picked on. Every leaf that I pick off a plant, I have to weigh it and report it to the state. I am so tightly regulated, I can barely breathe. So certain activities, that's gaslighting. Again, waste management, leaves, stems, waste byproducts of a cultivation facility. Wildlife and domestic animals are attracted to this as a possible food source. However, this still contains THC, which is poisonous to animals. Not true. THC is not activated until you mix it with alcohol or heat it. I feed it to my rabbits every day and they thrive. I mean, I really hope you guys read this because it's utterly ridiculous. Runoff, and besides, all of our, like I said, we have to weigh every leaf that we pick off of the plant, and then we have to prove how we destroy it. It has to be dried, it has to be mixed with dirt, it has to be bagged, and then it has to be taken to the landfill. There's no animals eating our weed. It's just, it's utterly ridiculous. And it doesn't hurt them. It's a natural product that grows everywhere. I don't see any deer coming to town stoned. Aesthetics, the facility itself is required to erect 6-foot tall fence is not true. That's only for a greenhouse. Where we intend on growing is in an enclosed facility where no light, no smell, no nothing can escape from it. So there will be no 6-foot fence. We're not looking to make some eyesore. We're just business people trying to do our job. And the smell, okay, let's address the smell. The smell, if someone complains about our smell, the state comes right down, inspects, tests, see if it smells. And then if we don't fix it in 10 days, we lose our license. We take this stuff very seriously. I know the laws, I study them. It's like 950 pages to every application I fill out. This is not some unregulated activity with a bunch of potheads growing in the tent. This is a professional activity. So runoff, aesthetics, light pollution, noise, stench, harassment in some cases. We've never harassed anybody. We've tried so hard to be part of this community, and I believe it shows by the support that's behind me. We donate to causes, we put on concerts, we put on more than 7 different feeds for people. So none of that is true. I would really encourage you to just peruse through the codified law that surrounds us. That's it. That's all I got. I really appreciate your time. And I know you guys are smarter than this. Please stand up, because if you're afraid of anyone, they imprison you forever. Don't allow that.
Forrest? Before you take off, thank you for staying close to the 5 minutes. I appreciate that. Council, do you have any questions for Forrest?
I just would ask, could you leave Misty your notes? Could you leave Misty your notes?
He was reading off of what Kim presented
do we-
to you.
This is what the opposition gave you last time.
It's recorded, and I have pretty
Okay,
decent
thank you.
minutes.
I just-
Okay.
Anyone? I mean, the public safety thing, I know I proved my point on that. You guys, you've got to understand that I'm trying to make this a better town.
So you said that you're totally enclosed from, you invited me down to look at your facility, and from what I saw, it's just that one building that you're presently in, correct?
Right.
And from what I saw, one part of the facility is only about the size of a 4-car garage,
Yeah,
and then the other part of the facility is maybe 6-car garage.
right.
And from what I saw, there's no light that can get out, there's no windows, there's no ventilation, exhaust that
There's no exhaust at all. We have to control the air, and any exhaust that there will be, any air coming in or going out, is filtered first by ultraviolet light, and what does that smell after the rain? Ozone. An ozone generator then will kill any particulates and remove the odor, and then ultraviolet light will kill anything. And then one more thing is the pesticide list that we use is less than a page long. What's approved for farming in South Dakota is more than 75 pages long. And everything that we use is it's organic. It's not going to harm the environment. Nothing we do harms the environment. We can't do that. We're here to heal people, not hurt them.
Forrest, thank you for your comments. Could you give me the codified law that you referenced so I can write it down here?
32-0G, or, here, I'll pull it up.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Could
that.
you give me the codified law that you referenced so I can peruse that.
I think Jesse's going to touch on that more, but, and I will email it to you as well, but it's https://southdakota.gov statutes/codified law _laws 2078844. But I will email that to each and every one of you.
We've got it on our,
It's 34-20G are all the South Dakota codified laws regarding medical cannabis.
Thank you,
Yep.
Misty.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you. Very well
Thank you,
said.
Forrest. Thank you.
Have to get a step stool.
It goes
All right.
down.
I just want to sneak in here because I see, is this thing on?
Name
Okay.
name and
Um,
address. Name and
Because I
address.
see that there are going to be a number of people who want to speak on the previous subject. And I have a different subject.
Karen?
Karen Meston, sorry. Karen Meston, 12675 Hot Brook Canyon Road. Sorry. So I want to talk about Light Up Our Town. I came and talked to you guys last summer, and I told you that we were starting that initiative, the Christmas in the Hills group. And this is the group that works on the decorations for the holiday and winter season. So I just want to give you a brief update that we are now, we've been working on it since the summer. We took a couple months off for November and December to do our Christmas in the Hills activities, but we're active again. We are getting close to being ready to make a recommendation. And so given that, we're going to be meeting with Parks and Recs at the next meeting as soon as I figure out how to get on their agenda. And we'll then be bringing a resolution to the council after that meeting with Parks and Rec. Anybody have any questions or?
Karen,
Yes.
just send me an email, okay?
Send you an email?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, thank you very
All right.
much. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you
Anything
for
else?
everything you do. You make the holiday season very wonderful.
I know, we were very pleased this year, and I have to do a shout out to Lori Sherrard, who puts up the decorations. When I drove through town and I saw that she had decorated the Dip Bridge area with the snowflakes and wrapped the lampposts, that was very nice. So, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Anyone else?
That's 177 signatures from people in the community saying that they want us to be allowed to grow. That's what I gave to Misty. My name is Jessica Cataract. I'm with Dakota Kind Dispensary at 1148 Jensen Highway, Hot Springs.
So before you get started,
Okay.
again, I'm not trying to prevent anybody from sharing your opinion with the council. But when we were talking about 5 minutes per speaker and then giving the council an opportunity to ask questions, we ended up with 10 minutes with Forrest. 10 minutes, one or two speakers doesn't seem like a lot. But if everybody's thought is to get up and speak 10 minutes, we're going to be here an awful long time. I think council gets a sense of where you're coming from. So I would just appreciate, if you have something to add that maybe Forrest didn't, go ahead and share that with us. But for everybody to get up and repeat what's already been said, I would ask that you be respectful of your time and the council's time. We do have an agenda that we need to get through. So with that, what do you got for us?
We just want to make sure that you guys understand that we have the support of the community. Just because 12 parents showed up last time with objections that were completely false does not mean that the entire community is against us. Just those 12 people, that most of them didn't even live in Hot Springs. But what I have This discussion is not about the morality, appropriateness, or effectiveness of the cannabis plant. This is about a local business, our business, a business that has done nothing but contribute positively to this town. We have paid over $10,000 in sales taxes, $5,000 in licensing fees. We want to give you another $10,000 in licensing fees. And most importantly, we've helped members of this community break free from destructive dependencies on meth and alcohol. I've seen lives transformed in ways you cannot imagine. I've seen patients who were so close to death, they didn't want to wake up another day. And now those same people are living active, fulfilling lives, cherishing moments with their families that they never thought they would have, myself included. These two would not be alive if I hadn't gotten this medicine, because I was days from death. And now I have 2 children that I get to spend time with. Yet 2 weeks ago, we sat here through accusations based on lies. Someone said we have 60,000 plants. Let me put that into perspective. That would require 861,114 square feet of growing space. That's 20 football fields. There is not a facility in this state or this country that grows that much. The largest grow in Canada 4 years ago was 60,000 plants. There is nothing compared to that in this state. When she made that frivolous and targeted complaint about the facility's smell, it didn't even have plants in it yet. It's purely bullying behavior. Ms. Allen has spread fear and fabricated statistics trying to paint us as a threat. We've heard from people telling horror stories from California and Colorado. Tell us how to run our state. But this isn't California. This is South Dakota. We are native South Dakotans with deep roots in this land going back generations. My father grew up on the Pine Ridge reservations. My grandmother was a huge influence on the native population. She was the principal of the elementary school on Pine Ridge. She participated in the AIM movement. She wrote the Skills for the Young Lakota series, which is widely used across Pine Ridge. So I may look like a little white girl, but that shouldn't matter. We are native to this land. The claims about energy and water usage were equally ridiculous. A supposed 36% increase in power drain. In reality, grow operations only account for less than 1% of national electricity usage. And as for plant waste, if this was anything but a medical grow, it would be considered compost. We could grow the exact same plant in any field in this state and call it hemp, and we would not have to deal with this issue. Some argue that there's been an increase in drug-related arrests. Let me clarify. Arrests related to marijuana have dropped significantly. And let's not forget, you're not investing in our business. We operate with our own resources, creating jobs, filling vacant spaces, and generating revenue for this town. To those who say that they don't enjoy what we do, I understand. I was against it for a long time. But personal dislike is not a justification to prevent a lawful, responsible business from operating. We are not hurting anyone, and we have not hurt anyone. Then there's the outrageous accusation that we're somehow tied to human trafficking. This is not only false, it's offensive. If you're concerned about human trafficking, look at where it's actually happening. During events like the rally, or in places like Walmart and Target in Rapid City, where I know personal friends of mine who have had to be escorted to their cars, have managers help them carry their small children because they were being followed. That's not us. How about the restaurant owner in Rapid City that was caught trying to buy a child and now owns a restaurant next door to an arcade? Where's the outrage there? We're a family business that has only brought benefits to this community. And yet some people would rather protest us than actual threats to safety. To claim that allowing a business to grow will turn this town into a police state is fear-mongering at its worst. The real threat is letting outsiders from places like LA who mismanage their own communities come here and tell us how to run ours. Finally, we can talk about healthcare. People want alternatives to big pharma. Why push them towards drugs with higher rates of addiction and long list of side effects, medications that some of us joke could cause instant death, which is the side effect of one of the medications I was on before I gained access to cannabis. Cannabis has been used for thousands of years, dating as far back as 8,800 BCE for medical and spiritual purposes. This business is about more than just revenue. It's about helping people. It's about standing firm in the face of lies and fear, and it's about showing that South Dakotans can take care of their own, responsibly and compassionately. Thank you.
Council, any questions for Jessica? Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Bill Lukens. Bill Lukens was a founding member of our business at the beginning, and then we bought him out.
And I agree with everything that's been said. And I said one more thing. In addition to...
Can you repeat your name?
My name is Bill Rentz.
Okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
So I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And what I would add is, in addition to providing medicine to help people, we want to help them emotionally. I mean, you've seen our logo. It's in a world where you can be anything, be kind, and that's a conversation we have with everybody every day. So in addition to helping people physically, we intend to help them emotionally as well.
What's your address, Bill?
Excuse me.
Address.
Your address? 1021 Alta Vista Drive, Rapid City, South Dakota. I'm also building a place down south of Hot Springs. It's not quite ready yet. So I'll be a member of the community as soon as I sell my house in Rapid City.
Is it RENZ?
TZ.
TZ, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Robert Blair, B-L-A-R, 1261 South 6th Street here in Hot Springs. And I do just want to say I stand with Forrest, and I think it's a good thing allowing him to flourish as a business. Not in allowing him to flourish could create a vacuum, and that's when the bad actors can move into our town. Right now we have a controlled environment, and that's what we want within our community. I love this community, and I just want to see it flourish. And we don't want bad actors coming in. Right now, we've got something that's beautiful and wonderful for our community, and it helps a lot of us veterans. I am a disabled veteran myself.
Thank you, Robert.
My name's Gary Peterson. My address is 402 Meadowlark Drive here in Hot Springs.
Can you speak into the mic?
Yes.
Is it Peterson with an O or an E? Thank you.
You know, I'm going to cut my stuff way back here. I agree with Forrest and what everybody's saying tonight. When people come up to this microphone and speak to you, they should be speaking truth. After reading this article, frankly, I was pretty pissed. Because there's a lot of course, back in the 1920s, they called this yellow journalism. World War II, they called it propaganda. I think now that you would have to call it fake news. But when they make statements like this, and let me read this. Ms. Spitzer. Ms. Spitzer valued the need for medical marijuana products and said there are many other cannabis-based products available that can be prescribed by a doctor. It is illegal on a federal level because it is dangerous. I have two doctors in my family. I called one of them up. I said, Don, have you ever heard of doctors being able to prescribe cannabis products? He laughed. He says, we can't prescribe any cannabis product. They're not regulated by the FDA. They're not available at any pharmacy. And he can't write a prescription to go to a dispensary. He said, that's laughable. He says, and on top of that, their insurance companies won't cover them. People come up and say lies like this to you folks. I got to call it out, you know, because the credibility is at stake here. This person should have a little bit less credibility the next time you see him if you ever do. A little history lesson on why cannabis was made illegal in the first place. Back in 1934, at the end of Prohibition, a huge bureaucracy known as the BNDD needed a new mission. And our government, behind the backs of the farmers and American citizens, demonized the plant in order to allow synthetic fibers to be brought onto American business. The big problem was to get rid of plants like cannabis, which were natural fibers and being used heavily at the time. That fiber was rayon. Who pushed it? The oil companies did. Who made it illegal? Unelected bureaucrats. A judge for the BNDD, a bureaucratic judge, put it as a Schedule I drug with no evidence to do that. And he was pushed by politicians and oil companies to do that. This gave that huge bureaucracy a new mission. They moved from alcohol prohibition right into machine guns and marijuana prohibition. So that's how that came about. It was never voted on. Nobody ever elected these people to make that law. And another person made a statement, I think her name was Alan. And she describes winning businesses. She doesn't think this is going to be a winning business. When do individual citizens of this country decide who is a winning business and who is not? Collectively, we as a public either give our business and support them, or they dry up and go away. Forest Benning has a good business going. I think it will only get better. No criminal records, no problems. We're dealing with a non-toxic substance in cannabis. Non-toxic. Here's the book. If you want references, here it is. It's called The Workman. Every drug known to man, including the illegal ones, are listed in here. All their effects, all the research is summarized in this book. It's updated every few years. One of the few substances in this huge book listed as non-toxic is cannabis. My mother died. My mother died from an alcohol overdose when I was 8 years old. My uncle died driving his car at 100 miles an hour with two of his buddies into it a few months before that. We can tolerate alcohol. Why can't we tolerate medical cannabis? And a man who's trying to play by the rules, and he just keeps getting setback. It's silly to let the guy sell pot, but he has to drive all over the state to buy it. Oh, one last thing. One of these days, he's going to get a batch of pot somewhere in the state from some unscrupulous growers. It's going to be tainted. They're going to use other specimens to pass this pot off to the state. It will be sold. When it's discovered that it's tainted, there will be a recall, and people are going to get sued. It's only a matter of time. That will not happen if he's growing his own product here in South Dakota. I believe the man has good scruples and the right values to do this. He's trying to help people, not make money. And right now he ain't making money. And a lot of it's because of the people sitting here. He needs the right to do that. He's tried to play by the rules all the way. He spent a lot of money, a lot of time, lawyers, travel, everything else. Give him a chance. Let him have this girl. Thank you.
Sorry, a little short. My name is Lisa Ogden. I reside at 238 South 17th Street here in Mount Springs. Well, I guess I agree there is something I would like to put in everybody's minds. All of us who live here and utilize forest business means that we are keeping business here. If this closes, we will all be forced to take our business to Rapid City, which means I have to spend a lot more money in gasoline, which means I have a lot less money to donate to causes here locally. And I think if you check with anybody who deals with this, they would say similar things. That's all.
Thank you.
My name is Kim Lopez, 1402 Minuteman Drive, Rapid City. I have known Forrest for almost 40 years, and Jesse since sedation. 22 years ago, my husband was really badly hurt in an auto accident, and he was on heavy painkillers. About this time, marijuana medical process became legal, and Forrest had always been interested in the plant and how to do it right. Use full organics. You don't use pesticides. You use insects. You do whatever it takes, and you control their environment 100%. He taught me how to treat my husband's pain, even though he couldn't do it himself. He just had the knowledge to give me the information. 2 years after my husband's car accident, I was hit by a UPS truck going 35 miles an hour in the rear end. I would not have been able to work for the last 19 years, and I would have been on Medicaid and taking money from the state, except for this man, because he taught me how to be able to do it, and then make good choices when I decided to purchase it. And instead of having to always smoke it, we could make edibles. And these are knowledges that most people don't have. They take a lifetime to learn. And Forrest has the knowledge to do a splendid job with anything he does that has to do with growing any plant, not just cannabis. And he is going to have a clean operation because that's the only thing he believes in. And anyone who would say he cannot serve the people of this community, I come from Rapid City to his dispensary to get marijuana. So, you know, it's not, he's a good guy, he does it right. And I'd rather be getting it from him than getting it from someone who originally was from California or Colorado, moved here to get a license, and they basically stole every license in the state. There's only a few that have been able to obtain them that are really, truly local their whole lives. And that's these two people right here. And they care about our community, and they don't want to be polluters. And they should be applauded for what they've done so far and what they will do in the future, only allowed to thrive in this community. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tiffany Roby, 14380 East Oral Road. I'm going to follow up with what she had to say, and I agree with Forrest. CBD and THC, they have topical creams that are cannabis-infused products that provide localized relief for pain, inflammation, and other conditions. They work by binding to the body's endocannabinoid receptors, which regulate pain, inflammation, and immune responses. Cannabinoids can improve eczema, acne, pertussis, psoriasis, hair growth, skin cancer, and warts. Not only CBD oil is also considered an effective anti-seizure medication, CBD is also being used to treat Parkinson's, schizophrenia, diabetes, multiple sclerosis. And I'm going to give you some information that was spewed last week that's wrong. This was published by Harvard Health. CBD can help with addiction. It can lower the craving for opioid, heroin, and tobacco cravings. It can help with trouble sleeping. There is moderate evidence that medical marijuana may help with disturbed sleep associated with sleep apnea, fibromyalgia, chronic pain, and MS. Nausea and vomiting. There are FDA-approved cannabinoids that can help with side effects from chemo and other prescriptions that are prescribed from your doc that don't work. So there are other side effects, you know, that CBD, oil, topical creams that work great, better than prescriptionized medication that you get from your doc, from Big Pharma. Thank you.
I do have a question. I've heard a lot of numbers, not of you, ma'am. I've heard a lot of numbers of what's going on here tonight, and that this dispensary and grow will provide jobs. I haven't heard the number of jobs that will provide.
now, we employ 4 people in the grow facility. It's a ebb and flow, so there would be part-time jobs called trimmers, and the trimmers would work like 20 hours a week. Our starting wage is $17 an hour. Then there are our lead growers, and they make from $22 to $28 an hour.
And how many of those would you employ? 2?
And then in the manufacturing facility, which is quite a ways down the road, 6 months maybe from our first harvest, we would employ 2 people, and they would make in the neighborhood of 40 to 45,000 apiece.
Okay. I was just wondering that because you said you would provide jobs to the area, and I was wondering how many jobs that would entail.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Glad you asked.
My name is Bo Bird.
I'm sorry.
2320. Sorry.
I didn't catch the last name.
Bird, B-Y-R-D.
B-Y-R-D. Thank you. Bo Bird.
2328 Washington Avenue. I myself am a licensed user and also a cultivation. When I am out or when I am between my cycles, as far as my own grow is concerned, Forest has been there for me. Being that I do cultivate on my own, I don't use anything other than a bit of calcium to provide to the plants. The water that I use, 10 gallons for 10 weeks, coming out of the hot spring up there at Chautauqua. Best water in the world. It's clean and it is not contaminated after it leaves the plunge. Being that I've grown my own, I do not use any nutrients. Knowing full well that the manufacturers in this state do use nutrients, and in some cases, over-nutrient. It is better to be able to know what is being grown by yourself and knowing what's being grown by somebody else who's distributing. If Forest is going to do a grow, I support that 100% because I know how to grow myself and I know what it does. Being that I am a disabled veteran at 100%, not using that as an excuse, but I will say this. With the medication that I have used and been prescribed from the VA, the side effects that I have experienced, the use of cannabis, none of them exist. Thank you.
Ryan Warmonger. I live at 304 Valley View Drive.
Oh, Ryan, I'm sorry, but I'm going to need you to spell that last name.
Take a stab.
Warmonger? That's what I heard. I don't think that. M-A-G-E-R. Thank you. Warmonger. That sounds better.
I too am a disabled veteran, and if it wasn't for Forest, I wouldn't be able to be standing here in front of you tonight. 6 months ago, I couldn't even be walking around after noon because of the back injury that I sustained and the side effects from that. The service that he provides to this community allows me to actually function and live. You know, if I had to go to Rapid City to get the same medication, it would be a very, not only a large inconvenience, but it would be very difficult for me to do. So I support Forest, and I think you should too.
Good evening, my name's Kevin Esslinger, 541 Indianapolis.
Kevin, last name?
Esslinger, E-S-S-L-I-N-G-E-R.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I'm with Forest. I also want to say, there's been some major changes in the last year to how the federal government views marijuana from a medical perspective. First thing is, it's gone from being a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3, which eventually in some 10 odd years when the DEA gets around to it, will become legal to prescribe by any medical doctor. Not having to go to a second doctor or a third doctor or a fourth doctor. Secondly, our most conservative justice on the Supreme Court says we need to do something to settle this matter all the way across the board. He's talking from a medical perspective, not from a recreational perspective. We all know the disaster that we've seen with the opiate epidemic. Our president, who took his oath yesterday, also stands with us on the medical use of marijuana over the use of opioids. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Marie?
San, S-A-N.
Thank you.
My address is 13690 Lone Tree Road.
So, excuse me, Ann, I can't hear you well. It's okay to take the microphone out if you haven't, and just pretend it's karaoke night. Get up close and personal.
I still get it. Okay, 2 years ago I came to Forest because I ended up with breast cancer. And my caregiver went to him, we got some cannabis, and...
Still can't hear you. Put it right up to your mouth.
My caregiver went to Forest to help me with some cannabis to help me with my cancer. And if it wasn't for that, my cancer would still be going. We stopped most of my cancer, and I'm cancer-free now. And if it wasn't for the cannabis and Forest, I don't know what I'd do. It's helped me with also my spasms from my car accident that I had 27 years ago. I am more mobile now than I was before. And it cures pain that I have. I use edibles. I have used oils. And I've even started smoking it as well, which I have not done in a long time. So I support Forest, and I think it's a great idea for him to stay here. I also think that if you guys don't let him do this, more drug dealers are going to come in to try to take over, and the kids are going to get the marijuana from them instead of having it pure and regulated and under supervision like Forest is doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just have one thing. I want you to know, when I said that we outnumber them 8-2, these people behind me have been stigmatized and marginalized for so long, but they do vote. And so it took a lot of courage for these people to come here and address you. And I really hope that you listened. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, anyone else?
Forrest, the petition?
That's for Misty.
Oh, yeah, we want to keep
That's for-
that.
that's for us?
me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I hope I have all the pages. What do you guys want?
Oh, thank you.
So, where do we stand going forward with the resolution that was on the agenda 2 weeks ago and after tonight?
That was an ordinance, and it didn't pass its first
Ordinance,
reading.
Yeah.
So council will need to make a decision whether they want to put those two ordinances back on the agenda for reconsideration.
You don't have to make that decision tonight, however.
Yeah, it's not agended, so I don't think we can make a decision. So I think we've gained some very good information and insight, not only tonight, but also during the public hearing and through the committee meetings. So we now have homework to do ourselves. But tonight was very good. Thank you. And thank you all for coming. We're not as mean and scary as you might think, and come back and join us. We're a fun group to be with. Trust me.
So,
I'd like to say something also. Since this isn't a public hearing, I do encourage you, no matter what the subject matter is, when there is a public hearing, that's when you should be coming up and speaking and saying how you feel. Not that it's wrong to do that tonight, okay? But you need your voice to be heard. We need both sides of the story, not just one, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
I also just wanted to mention quickly that part of the ordinance changes was our hours, and that was not addressed at the last meeting. So I would like to be able to get that back on the agenda next time to change our hours. There were no objections to changing our hours.
So I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight to speak to the council. All of you didn't get up and speak. I appreciate you recognizing that the night can get very long if you do that. But it's also important to hear what you have to say, and everything everyone said tonight was certainly very impactful. I got a couple pages of notes here, so thank you for that. What I would ask is that on the next agenda item, or next council, we have a discussion-only agenda item for council to openly discuss whether they want to bring the changes to the ordinances back in front of you for a vote. I think that's fair to the council, and it's also fair to the public.
I was going to say, also, our, our email addresses are public. Don't be afraid to send us an email. You know, with those of you who didn't speak today, please send us an email. Let us know you're out there and what you're thinking.
Yeah, some of you have the email.
And to follow up to Larry's comment about when there's a public hearing, would certainly encourage you to always look at the council packets, whether you think there's going to be anything on them or not, for each council meeting. Maybe there will be. But when there is, don't assume how a council is going to vote. I've been with these folks for a while. I often have a feel for how they're going to vote on something, and they often will surprise me. So don't assume a particular vote as you did tonight. If it's important enough for you to address it now, next time around, attend the next council meeting when there's that open discussion where council will talk about whether they want to put this back on the agenda or not. So we would prefer to see this many folks here. We're used to seeing close spouses and Barb's always here. If we see 6 people from the public here, we're seeing a lot. It's better if we see this many. It's your council, it's your city, you need to be engaged in it all the time, not just when there's a particular item that you want to speak to. So, thank you for coming. Thank you for giving us your time, council. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you for being here.
Very enlightening. Thank you.
You're all welcome to stay.
More fun stuff to come.
Got a whole bunch of things here.
All right. On to our next.
Okay.
I just also want to say that I'll throw my support behind the training stuff for Ross and for the vest.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He supports Ross going to that training. The thing.
Oh,
He supports it.
Yeah, I know.
oh, okay.
All right. Next item on our council agenda is an update from the executive director of Shedco. Andrea?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'll be mercifully short.
Mercifully.
Housing. We're still working with Fall River Health Services to recruit a developer to complete the housing development adjacent to the hospital. We do have an offer for an option to purchase Building 1, and we're in the process of visiting with lawyers to see, to verify that the contract will work for both parties. We have more, on housing, we have more inventory in the $275,000 to $330,000 range for houses in Hot Springs now than any time since COVID. That is a grand total of 7. That's Mount Rushmore Real Estate Multiple Listing Service has 5 active listings. None of them are under contract. The low is 319 and the high is 329 in that range. And they're in decent shape. There's one of those is on Mystery Lane in Boulder Falls, and it's a duplex. Community development. Engage South Dakota continues to follow our progress addressing community issues, particularly housing, historic preservation, and business development. Child care. Jacqueline approached me about the issue in our community, and everybody knows it's a statewide and indeed a nationwide issue. We put together a list of potential task force members to explore solutions, and I've sent out an invite for an initial strategic planning meeting. Business Park. I'm in discussions with IHG, GOED, and Rural Development to explore ways to fund a business park somewhere in the county. I met with Lance Lockwood, Travis Reinhardt, and Clark Guthmiller, all from SD Rural Development, and have a further meeting this week with Wyatt Stevens, who manages a different program still under Rural Development. We had 70 attendees at our annual banquet. Our speaker was Tom Johnson from Elevate. He stayed overnight at the Evanston Heights Bed and Breakfast, and he and his wife went to Moccasin Springs on Saturday and toured the rest of the town. If you were there, thank you very, very much for coming and your continued investment in Shedco. And lastly, I have a meeting on the 26th of February. I'm going to attend the Deadwood Historic Preservation meeting with members of our Historic Preservation Committee. That's it. Any questions?
What was that task force you mentioned?
To explore ways to address our child care needs situation here in Hot Springs. Want to be on it?
I'm already in the child care business. I got 2 11-year-olds.
Have you approached the private child caregivers here in town?
You know, I haven't done any of that yet. I wanted to have this initial strategic planning meeting, and we have some other ideas for getting some of those people to the table. So we have discussed that, how to get those folks, either current providers, previous providers who are no longer doing it, people who are interested in doing it, all in the same place at the same time.
Great.
Andrea, if I don't remember to send you an email, would you send me one? Jacqueline and I have been talking about some ideas of how we might put some life back into how we might help the providers with some ordinance compliance
Right,
things.
that'd be great. That'd be great. And they're covering it all the time right now on STPB radio, and of course the basic issue is funding for those programs. So we need inventive and unique ways to deal with that. Thank you.
Andrea?
Notes.
You had mentioned an offer to purchase Building 1.
Yes, they'd like an option, a 6-month option to buy, so that they can bring an architect in to take a look at everything that will need to be done.
Do you have a feel that it's purchased with the intent to begin doing something right away, or speculative purchase and the speculation down the road?
No, it's a developer. So
All right.
it would be remodeled for rental units.
Thank you.
But social services would stay in the bottom floor.
Oh, consistent with what kind of dream design was
Yes.
looking at?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Andrea, if they have to get rid of any of those pool tables, let me know, okay? I got room at the house.
Any of the pool tables?
Yeah,
There aren't any more pool tables up there.
Conflict.
it's a joke, it's a joke, it's a joke.
There's a few coffins up there.
No, that's okay. I got plenty of those on the other side of town.
Gee, Larry, you can use it as a coffee table.
I could. Put some books on top of it.
All right. On to personnel. Can I get a motion to approve personnel actions A through C?
I make a motion to approve personnel actions A through C.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 1262?
Make a motion to approve first reading of ordinance 1262, an ordinance transferring 3 lots in the Boulder Falls addition from rural service district to urban service district.
Second.
Discussion? Misty, would you call the roll, please?
J.R. Huddleston.
Yes.
Travis Orbach.
Yes.
Gary Telkamp.
Yes.
Larry Pratt.
Yes.
Deborah Johnston.
Yes.
Bill Lukens.
Yes.
Linda Varvel.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion passes. Can I get a motion on resolution 2025-4?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-4 bridge reinspection program resolution.
Second.
Discussion? So council, this is a resolution that councils approve every year. DOT inspecting our bridges. There is an expected increase to this contract. I don't believe it's going to be a significant increase, but there are additional federal guidelines that DOT has to comply with for these inspections. So, it won't be the same amount that you're accustomed to seeing. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. On to our new business item. Our first new business item is a notice. It's an intent to burn the brush pile at the city maintenance facility when weather conditions are favorable. The anticipated months for a favorable burn are January through March. So again, this is a notice to you that it's that time of the year when we need to burn our brush pile. A fair question was asked, why haven't we set a date that we could let you know? And it's because Mother Nature in South Dakota changes from day to day. We could pick, if you approve, we're notifying you, but tomorrow we could pick Friday as an example that we think weather forecasts are showing it would be a good opportunity to burn the pile, and we get to Friday and the weather, the wind, whatever it may be, goes nuts. Obviously, we're looking for as much snow cover as we can get. So that's going to be the first criteria, and then we're looking at the other weather conditions. So that's the reason that we haven't given you a definite date. You have my assurance that we're following this through Public Works. We're working with Billy and Adam and Jacqueline and Bill. And when we find a favorable day or dates that we expect to burn the pile, I'll reach out to each of you personally and let you know what date we're looking at. Again, keeping in mind that that date may blow up on us. The first thing we do in the process is let you folks know. We also coordinate with South Dakota Wildland Fire, have them give us guidance about good burn days. Bill, from Public Works, is there anything I've missed that you would like to add?
No, just to remind council that we not only notify all the emergency responders, the fire department, police department, we let dispatch know, and we also let several of the key businesses around the brush pile know, not only the RV ranch, but some of the 24-hour businesses like Fit for Life, the motels in the region, folks that may be up and around when we light the thing off. We've found lately that if we light it off around midnight or 1, not only are the wind conditions most favorable, but most of the brush pile's gone by the time most folks are moving around. We also coordinate it with Fall River Hospital, so hopefully we get the brush pile gone before they do their annual HEPA filter change out on their air handling system. So we do quite a lot of coordination with the service and lodging industries around the community. So we try to be friendly when we do it.
Any questions, council? All right, we'll move on to new business item B. Can I get a motion to approve and authorize the mayor and finance officer to sign the 2024 audit engagement letter?
I thought that was canceled. B.
No.
No.
E.
E.
I'll make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor and finance officer to sign the 2024 audit engagement letter with Kettle Thornton LLP.
Second.
Discussion? Misty, is there anything you'd like to?
Let me correct. Thorstensen.
Please approve it. That's all I have.
Say again?
Please approve it.
No, these are the folks that this council's very familiar with. They're the only ones that have been doing it for a while. And
There's great value to that longevity.
yeah. Misty and Ariel and Kettle Thorstensen work well together. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve new business item C, approve and authorize the mayor to sign agreement 2025-3?
I make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign agreement number 2025-3 with Joel Johnson, doing business as CES Code Enforcement Specialist, LLC, for code enforcement services for 2025.
Second.
Linda. Council, any questions? Gary, I believe you had some questions on this particular one?
Well, I sent you an email. I can pull it up here and I'll just read it. But my concern was, I had read some of Joel's reports that he had done here a year ago, going around different cities. This is a fellow from Burke, correct?
Yes.
And I thought it was all real good and I support that. But unless we have the will and we have the people to follow through on his recommendations, it's probably just a waste of money. So I support it as long as we're going to follow through on it. Am I transmitting okay over there, Larry?
Now you are. You're tucking your chin in and I'm losing you.
Well, I have problems with my hearing aids. I'm not receiving, but I just wondered if I was transmitting.
Gary, I think we're on the right track now.
Okay.
We believe we are, to be able to do easier, better follow-ups than we were doing before. Take some action, actually, that needs to be done that wasn't done before. But I think we as a city are ready to move forward with this even better than what we were in the past.
I agree with you. It was just a comment. I just want to, if we're going to spend the money to do it, we need to follow through on the recommendations.
I totally agree, and I have seen that we have, in our previous attempts, we are getting better and better of utilizing his services, and we have gotten big results out of his services. So, and I think at this point, we're just trying to back up our new personnel until they get on board better as well, by having that backup.
I think I agree with what Deborah's saying. We've seen results from what CES has, the services they've provided. I think by the time the budget hearings roll around at the end of July, it'll be a good conversation to have on how Wesley's doing. Maybe I shouldn't use the name, but how code enforcement is working the first half of the year. Is, do we go forward with this? So hopefully we'll have 6 months of good data on whether or not this service will be needed going forward.
Agree.
Agree.
Anyone else? Along the lines that you've been discussing, I've been having this conversation with Jacqueline and the building inspector. And I agree that I think this is an opportunity to use Joel to help us get our feet underneath us. Jacqueline and the building inspector have been doing a good job of looking at properties. A number of them have already been identified, and we've had conversations with our attorneys about the right way to proceed with them. Using Joel initially for some of the administrative purposes will give us an opportunity to figure out how much of that we can bite off and maybe not renew the contract for next year. We'll take baby steps in this, and I'm hopeful we can get there. This gets us through our transition period with our new employees. Any other questions? Jacqueline, any comments?
No, I think everything was covered.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
The motion passes. On to new business, item D. Can I get a motion to approve the police chief, Ross Norton, to accept the Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Award?
I make a motion to authorize Police Chief Ross Norton to accept the Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Award of $2,079.19, which reimburses 50% of the costs of 3 bulletproof vests.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. We removed item E from the agenda. So that takes us on. Can I get a motion to approve new business item F? Authorize the finance officer to reinvest maturing U.S. Treasury bond at South Dakota Fit.
Make a motion to authorize the finance officer to reinvest the maturing U.S. Treasury bond at SD Fit number 21080-104, in parentheses 602 WTR-DSR, into another U.S. Treasury bond with South Dakota Fit for a 6-month term at 4.06%, subject to minor market fluctuations.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. We removed item G. Takes us to new business item H. Can I get a motion to approve a plat of Largent Track West and Largent Track East of Block 2?
I make a motion to approve a plat of Largent Track West and Largent Track East of Block 2, Grandview Place addition to Hot Springs, Fall River County, South Dakota, formerly lots 15 through 18.
Second.
Discussion?
This will be in my minutes from planning and zoning. Essentially, it's cleaning up the plats as we're slowly getting through them to get rid of those middle light gray lines, and there is a little jog in that center line. So it has been approved at the last planning and zoning commission meeting.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion on new business item I, a plat of Fisher Tract located in lots 11, 12, and 13?
I make a motion to approve a plat of Fisher Tract located in lots 11, 12, 13 in the west 15 feet of the north 35 feet of lot 14, block 15 of Stewart, second edition, to the town, now city of Hot Springs, Fall River County, South Dakota.
Second.
Discussion? Deborah?
Again, this one you'll hear about in my minutes. I think this one's just adding the little jog there on the upper right side and clearing out again those center lines.
And am I remembering correctly, the purpose behind the getting rid of the interior lot lines is those are 25-foot lots?
Yes, and we're not supposed to be building over lot lines, like putting a house with one of those running through the center of it. So it's just over time, planning and zoning, as things come up, we're trying to clear out and clean up all these plats and divisions. You know, it's kind of hard to build on a 25-foot lot, but we aren't supposed to be having these lot lines going underneath or through buildings. That's why this is being required going forward.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. We removed new business item J, so that takes us to K. Can I get a motion to approve new business item K? Approve a travel training request from Golf Superintendent Jason Happy.
I make a motion to approve the travel training request from Golf Superintendent Jace Happ to attend the Turf Grass Seminar and Trade Show March 2nd through March 5th. That's supposed to be 2025, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. In Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. And that takes us to our new business item L, a motion to approve travel training request from Jason Correll to attend the treatment level 3 exam, January 30th, 2025 in Spearfish.
Make a motion to approve Jason Correll to attend the wastewater treatment level 3 exam, January 30th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. On to our committee reports. Our first committee report, Administrative and Finance. JR?
Thank you, Mayor. Admin Finance met January 13th at 1 p.m. at the Mueller Civic Center. In attendance were Mayor Nelson, Finance Officer Misty Summers Walton, Alderman Telkamp, Alderwoman Johnston, City Administrator Kelsey, and Chair J.R. Huddleston. Old business number 1, review updated job descriptions, update desired minimum qualifications, and add other desired qualification. Remove SD DLIC requirements. Update Southern Hills Golf Course work hours, days, descriptions. Update rec director number of hours, title of development coordinator, golf operations manager, and description updates. Reviews and updates are made.
Misty.
Have been made, and we are removing this from the agenda. Thank you. Item number 2, review South Dakota DOT response and info regarding encroachment enforcement responsibilities related to temporary signs, banners, and review ordinances for any required revisions. City will monitor maintenance and encroachment agreement as allowed and required by the DOT. Moving forward with sign enforcement by new building code inspector, ordinance enforcement official in accordance with city ordinance and DOT agreement in ADA compliance. Number 3, discuss safety policy review for possible changes sent to safety chair in November for review. Safety committee is reviewing the policy and will be sending forward any changes and recommendations. New business, mayor items, none. Number 2, committee member items. JR reported that Macaulay Vision Fund Committee will meet on the 24th at 9 a.m. here at the Mueller Civic Center. Number 3, review monthly finance officer reports. Misty had provided our finance reports in our info packets. Number 4, review final review of resolution establishing guidelines for use of city resources, i.e. work requested by or benefiting other businesses, organizations, political subdivisions, individuals, firms, and corporations to be performed by the city workforce and/or utilizing city equipment and materials. The resolution is provided for review, will be in the info-only packet 121 packet and on the February 3rd agenda. Item 5, discuss available retail liquor license and steps to request proposals. 1, on-sale liquor license has been returned to the city. The city will advertise for bids and post 2 times. Bidders must meet all state and city licensing requirements to qualify. Approval of notice to bidders will be on 2/3/25 agenda, with bids closing at 5 p.m. March 3rd, 2025. Bid opening is at 7:15 on March 3rd, 2025. Number 6, wastewater 2025 purchase of new skid steer plan to transfer old one to the cemetery. Trade-in offered was $7,500 at budget planning time. Without the trade-in, final price is $57,442.41. We'll need supplemental appropriation, for 2025. The committee recommends wastewater department to not transfer to the cemetery and use as a trade as initially requested during the budget hearings. Our meeting adjourned at 2:25 p.m. Next meeting will be February 10th, 1 p.m. at the Mueller Civic Center. J.R. Huddleston, Chair. Subject to your questions, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions? To the skid steer, it turned out that the actual purchase price of that ended up coming in at 46 and some odd dollars, 46,000. So that has been purchased. And that's, Council, if you remember, you approved 50,000 for that skid steer for the 2025 budget. So they came in under what they had originally budgeted for that.
Save us money.
Misty, I forgot to mention, if you hadn't noticed, that Travis left the meeting at 7:46 and came back at 7:48. You were busy.
Oh, earlier?
Yes.
Because I had 8:25 and back at 8:26.
Yep.
Thanks. So both times.
I had to cough.
No problem.
Thank you, JR. Airport Advisory, Gary?
The Airport Advisory Committee will meet Thursday, February 6th at the airport at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management, Travis?
The Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management District Board last met on Thursday, January 9th at 7 o'clock here at the Mueller Center, and nothing was discussed pertaining to the city of Hot Springs. The next meeting will be Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at 7 o'clock here at the Mueller Center.
Thank you. Historic Preservation, Deborah?
They will meet next February 5th, 5 p.m. here at the Mueller Center.
Thank you. Evans Plunge Advisory, Linda?
Okay, the Evans Plunge Advisory Committee met January 9th, 2025 at noon. Present were Kari Mullock, Tom Nas, Gabby Martin, myself as chairperson. Public was Renee LaFrance. We discussed the proposed changes in the definition of the family membership. It was proposed to define a family as any two adults and children 17 and under living in the same household. This would allow us to include for more multi-generational and single-parent households. Recommends to council for proposed change. We discussed the proposed changes in the application of veterans military discount to include the spouse. Recommends to council to make the proposed change. Our dates of closure for annual deep cleaning and maintenance will be March 10th through 23rd, 2025. Under equipment, we discussed the chairlift. The batteries have been ordered and installed. Please let the front desk staff know of any equipment failures. Please, there is also a ramp available to the second floor area if the chair is not working. We are looking to replace blower motors, and a bubbler in the right hot tub needs work. We are restocking replacement parts at this time. Under swim lessons and classes, we will be having a Mommy and Me class coming up with a maximum of 8 participants, 2 times a week for 3 weeks from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Dates will be in February on Mondays and Wednesdays. In the fitness area, there have been no issues with the age changes. Review of monthly incidents. Individuals were swimming into the wall. The incidents were handled by the lifeguard on duty. An adult male was hit in the face by a ring. 2 incidents in the hot tub, 1 lost balance getting out. The other, an elderly man, stayed in too long and was overcome by the heat. Individuals in the area got him out and notified lifeguard, who kept a better eye on him. Under public comments, Renee presented a list of areas to be cleaned and maintained. We reviewed the list and determined many of them will be addressed at the annual cleaning, and we will look into the remainder on her list. We adjourned at 1:02 p.m. The next meeting will be February 13th, 2025, noon at the Evans Plunge Mineral Springs. Any questions?
Thank you, Linda. Parks Recreation, Larry, Linda?
Parks and Rec met Wednesday, January 8th at 2 p.m. here at the Mueller Center. Present were myself, Linda Varvel, Bart Sieg, Billy Morrow, Gabby Martin, City Administrator Jacqueline Kelsey, and the Mayor Bob Nelson, Caitlin Mossett, Jason Midgley, Jason Gesch, Councilwoman Deborah Johnson, and Gerald Colligan. In cemetery updates, there was none. Parks updates, Bart cutting trees in different areas of town, snow removal is needed. The Mueller Civic Center, business as usual, please check the calendar in the hallway for activities. That's over by the gym. Recreation updates, Gabby, winter activities are going well. We have 54 for 4 indoor skating, 50 for indoor soccer, 18 for indoor pickleball. Wiffle ball is not as popular and may be looking into refunds. Keep Hot Springs Beautiful, Caitlin. We have reserved the park shelters for our summer activities. We are looking into returning our recycling event, and combining it with the Great American Cleanup on or about May 3rd, 2025. And we still have 2 bump outs up for adoption. New business, the pickleball shelter, 4 foot by 24 foot shelter. There appears to be buried power lines and water line issues in that area. Jason Midgley and Jason Gesh will confer with Bart and Billy. Will be tabled until next meeting. In the Butler Park Disc Golf, Midgley and Gesh reported on a possible donation of 18 disc hole golf baskets to their group. They hope to incorporate this into the Butler Park area. After much discussion, it was the recommendation from the group to accept the donation of the 18 baskets and work out the placement of half at Butler Park, maybe decreasing that area to 9 holes to relieve congestion. July 4th, Memorial Derby for J.D. Myers. Jacqueline, this is to be a micro derby involving lawnmowers and power wheels. Discussion decided to move it from the brush pile site to the area across from the book barn at south end of Butler Park, citing parking and safety issues. So providing the promoter has proper insurance to cover this event, this committee recommended approval of council to proceed. In old business, pickleball update, club recommends changing out current lighting to LED, control panel or on-light timer needs work. Club reports they will continue to maintain tennis, pickleball, basketball courts, as well as disc golf, with a number of baskets currently in operation. Mr. Colligan expressed his thank you to the city for their letter of support for the repair of the Centennial Park fountain and reports donations from the Chamber of Commerce. Also continues to seek private donations. In the Freedom Trail signage, no update, continuing conversations. Billy will look at post requirements to install. In public comment, Gerald asked if city would remake the 13 bleachers at the city shop brush area to become usable again. Billy remarked that he didn't think that was possible as they may be too far gone. I left the meeting at 3:15. The meeting was adjourned at 3:41 p.m. Next meeting will be February 5th at the Mueller Civic Center here at 2 p.m. 2025.
Any questions for Larry? Thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Planning and zoning, Deborah?
Planning and zoning met January 15th at 6 p.m. at City Hall. Present were Don Olsted, Christine Heidebrink, James Forbord, Dwight Wienia, myself, Wesley Foss, and Mayor Bob Nelson. There were no guests. Under new business, number 1, John Hatskovitz petition to vacate right-of-way. A review of the request to vacate a street that is currently platted but not present as a proposed detour adjoining 2329 Washington Avenue. This is the area on 25th, between Lincoln and Washington. There's a block there that's platted with a little detour area on it, but the road was never made to connect there because there's a big chunk of gypsum that was causing that detour. And the Hatskovitzes have property on both sides of that street, which they want to connect. The property owners will need to continue with the process and submit a preliminary plat to include a utility easement. Specifics regarding the easement is to be determined by the city. Number 2, ordinance, chapter 51, water proposed ordinance changes. Y'all had information, PDF in your packets, and there were red marked areas. I'll save time and not read through them all, but they were added a few specifics to update We went through each of those one by one during the committee meeting and approved what was proposed. Number 3, Wally Cottrell, plat review, lot line revision. Request is tabled until more information is provided. And then the old business was not discussed. We adjourned at, what time did we adjourn? 7:46. And our next meeting will be February 19th, 6 p.m. at City Hall.
Mr. Cottrell was in the office today and said he wasn't going to move forward with that.
Oh, okay.
Any questions for Deborah? Thank you, Deborah. Public safety, Bill, JR?
Public Safety will meet Thursday, February 6th, 1 p.m. at the Mueller Center Conference Room.
Thank you. Public Works, Bill, Hal?
Public
Hal's not with
Works
us.
will meet Tuesday, January 28th, 1 p.m. at the Mueller Center Conference Room.
Thank you. There is no report from the Golf Course Advisory. Course is currently closed. City Administrator, Jacqueline, do you have anything you want to share?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Misty?
Nothing.
Deborah had mentioned the ordinance changes that are in your packet. I would also ask you to read through those. If you have anything that you'd like to add, delete, please respond to Misty, Jacqueline, and/or myself. And also Resolution 2024-5. Will that get a new number in 25? Will it be?
That should be the right one because we made this one
That's the old one?
4 and
Okay.
that one should be
All right.
5 from last week. Stick
So
something up.
take a look at those two, please, in your information packets, and respond if there's anything about them that you would like to see changed. So with that, can I get a motion to go into executive session for personnel and legal?
Make a motion, we go into executive session in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, 1, personnel, and 1-25-2, 3, legal.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. For the public, I'm not quite sure how long this will take. There will be no action taken after we come back from executive session. And there'll be a pause before we go into executive session. If we can get our attorneys to join us, and Misty and Jacqueline, if you join us also.
You were a little off, but you didn't know.
Sorry, I got carried away there. Got a nice beat to it. Get advanced.
Where's that?
I got that metal deal.
There she is. Okay. Make us wait.
I've got us back at 9:32. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Have a good evening, everyone.